Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be making a tutorial on how to make an intro. The intro I'll be making is one I made yesterday. Cursey one. There'll be two parts to this tutorial. The first part will be 3D work in Cinema 4D, and then the second part will be the After Effects part with the shockwave and the optical flare particles. So let's jump into it. So just open up any Lightroom. I'll just use this basic one I made. I'll leave it in the description if you don't have it in Lightroom. Alright, set up the camera. Now what you want to do is import the logo. So for mine I'm going to use the Arius AI file. Once you bring it in, you'll have this outline of the logo. You can fool around with the size or whatever you want to do. I'm going to put mine right there. What you want to do is go to this little green box, extrude NURBS, drag the Arius logo or the AI file into it so the arrow is pointing down. Once the arrow is pointing down, your logo will become 3D. You want to exit out of the camera view and fool around with the size here. Whichever one you want. I'm going to put mine 40. Looks about right. And you go to caps, change it to fill a cap, change them to about 1 on each one. That gives you the little edges here. You can add more if you want, but this is usually what I have. What you do here is, this is your timeline, so you want to change it to 200 frames. Slide that over. Move your little cursor to about 110. Find the final position you want your logo to be. So I'm going to put mine there. Keyframe it. Move your logo forward, or move the timeline all the way forward to 0 frame. Bring your logo up close. Keyframe it again. Now what you've done is you made a little animation of your logo going in. What also you should do is exit out of the camera view and click this little axis thing. What this axis thing does is makes the point, so if you have it over here you'll be rotating the object from this side. So you want this in the middle so you have the best rotating and moving tool. So let's see how close it is in the middle. So there's about the middle. So now, okay. So now you want to rotate it. Keyframe that. So now your logo will spin. Make sure you keyframe it after you spin it. You can spin it as many times as you want. The less times you spin it, the slower it'll spin and cleaner it'll look. So now that you have that, you can also make your logo tilt a little bit at the end. But I'm not going to do that. So now you have your logo spinning in. So now you want your motex. So go to MoGraph, motex, click on it, object, type in the person's name. For this tutorial I'll be making it for Storm. Center it so it's somewhere reasonable. Change the size down, over. Now what you want to do is find a font. For my last one, it was kind of like a cursive writing with high things. So I'm going to use the same one, which was Felix Tilting. That's the one I want. Now what you want to do is Usually you make the logo right against it, but for this tutorial, I don't want it right against it. The camera will be flying in. The text will be flying in. So make it the size you want. I also rotate it on the horizontal so it separates it more, so you do a little bit more with it. And I'm going to change the depth to about 30. Right. So now your text will just always be there, so we don't want that. So motext. Depends when you want your motext to come in. I'm gonna come in at 130. So keyframe. Then about 90. You want it to come out. So move your timeline to 90. Exit the camera mode again by just pressing that little object. Move it up and go to sight. So now what you've done is animate the text flying in. But you don't want the text just to be flat. So what you're going to do is click on your motext, MoGraph, Effector, and Random. And you don't want it to be, you can have it like this, but I prefer if it doesn't look as great. So I'm going to uncheck position, go to rotation, and what this does is makes it spin on kind of what you want. That's way too much. So now if you just have it like that, it'll come in. So you got to keyframe this like before. So go to 90, change it up. You obviously can't see it unless you exit the camera. Hold down Control, press this little square beside the R on all three of them. Move it down to when your text hits it. Change them all back to 0. And then just Control, Control, Control. So now your text comes in all wonky, and when it hits, it straightens out. And at the end, you can usually make it spin a little bit more. Not so much. So it doesn't look exactly right. And just hold down Control and press all over again. So it comes in and slowly rotates out. At this point, you probably also want the camera to move out. So click on the camera, go to 130, hold down Control, click focal length, keyframe it, move it all the way to the end, turn this down so it gets further away, keyframe it by holding Control again. So now your, oops. So now your camera will slowly move out after it hits. So now you have your logo flying in, text coming in, and it slowly rotates down. I'm actually going to make my text really weird. Change motext, random, turn this up even more, this too, pull that down, go to Control, Control, Control. There we go. Once you have that, you have the full thing done. Now you just gotta add textures. I have a material pack. Well, it's not my material pack, but I use it. You can check out his channel and you can find his material packs. Open it up. Last time I used gold, and you can see the gold right here. This time I'm not going to use gold, I'm going to use dark blue. One of those two. And then grudge is the dark rock color. Alright, so what you want to do is add the texture to the logo. Once it's added, go to projection, UV mapping. You don't want that, you want cubic. So now it actually looks like a rock texture. And what I do, I press on the material, go to basic, turn off reflection, because I don't want the light reflecting off of it. Once you have that, drag in your other material. It can be gold or whatever, so switch them up so your lava's first and then it's your other one. Change your lava to, go to cubic, go to click on lava material, basic, turn off. You can turn off specular, but I'm just gonna keep it on. Go up glow. This is, I just do this by myself. Just give it a little bit more glow to it. And once you have that, go to your second material, go to tag, and type in C1. What this is done, it has, whoops, it has made it so that it's going to be black in the front and lava texture on the inside and the back. Exit out of that. So we have your logo spinning in. That's pretty much it. So now all you need is go to your settings. I'm just gonna go to render settings. So what you want to do is go to width 1280, whoops, 1280 by 720. So for our HD frame rate, you want to change it to 30. Current frame, you want to do all frames, 0 to 200. Frame step, you want to have to 1 so it doesn't skip any frames. Save, you want to have it to, you can either have it as TDF BSD files or JPEG sequence or even AVI, but I do TFI because if your computer crashes you still have all the frames up to it. Then you go to file format, and this is where you're going to save it. So storms intro, and when you save it you want to put it into a folder so that, because it renders out each frame, you don't want that on your desktop and just take up your whole desktop. So go to save, go to effects, ambient occlusion, and global illumination. Ambient occlusion, just leave. Global illumination, go over, change medium to low, low, and weak. Yeah. Oh, and you also want to check alpha channel, so it's a background. You can change it to whichever one you want. So press the little camera so you have that. And before you want it, you always want to save as, not just save, because it'll save it to your Lightroom. So press save as. Change it to name. Whoops. Intro. Save. And then you'll click render. And now it's rendering each frame, and I'll be back. This is the end of part 1, and part 2 will be up later after this is done rendering. And yeah, hope you enjoyed and learned something from Cinema 4D. And yeah, I'll be back.